Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, or Spotify, while you're pretending to be surprised that a Zelda game got delayed again, entering another LTC giveaway on Twitter, spelling Super Jump as 2 words despite the fact that all the marketing had it as 1 word. Whatever it is you're doing right now, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. Alright. What's going on here? This is weird. No, this is weird. I know you're saying it. I know you're thinking it. What is going on here? And I'll tell you. You got me. This is a pre-recorded episode. Yeah, I know, you're booing at me right now. I know, I don't like it either. Because instead of you idiots in chat where I can see you, you idiots are on Twitter now, on your private accounts. I can't see you in chat, you guys are on Twitter. Unfortunately, this has to be a pre-recorded episode due to some technical details that I'm not going to go into, but we'll be back live next time. Other than that, this is going to be a normal podcast episode. Nothing's different. Nothing's changed except for the fact that it's now pre-recorded this time. Alright. News of sorts. I went over some news earlier this week, but in the last episode, not much has changed, but here's a quick refresher. Squidboards is about 2 weeks away on April the 16th. That is on a Saturday. Double elimination format this time for all the double elim lovers who love complaining at TOs on Twitter. We listen to you. So all the double elim fans should support that if they wish. Girls Duo Cup is tomorrow. I couldn't find if registration is open or not. But regardless, you should at the very least check out the stream tomorrow if you wish. I think it's good to support something like Girls Duo Cup. It's good to promote diversity in this community, and I'm glad Girls Duo Cup is still around. And if you're eligible, and registration's still open, couldn't find that, then you should definitely play in it. Minnow Cup is on the 10th. Said it was the 9th last episode. Now it's the 10th. I don't know if that was just wrong or if they moved it, but Minnow Cup's on the 10th now. That's on Sunday. It is the Splat Zones edition, so everyone in the community loves Splat Zones. Everyone loves Splat Zones. If you don't love Splat Zones, you're not a part of the hive mind, and you should leave the community because everyone loves Splat Zones. Everyone loves Splat Zones. If you're eligible to play in Minnow Cup, play in it. The Spawn Point Turf War with a Twist charity event is the day before on the 9th, which makes me wonder if Minnow Cup did move. They probably did. Hey, this is a good charity event. Big prize pool, $1,000, with an interesting format. If your team gets, the team that gets closest to 48% turf wins, which is puzzling. You know, it is a strange format. I'm not complaining. I'm like, when you think about it, how do you make a strategy for that? You really have to be good at guessing how much percentage turf the map's covered. It's going to be really difficult. I think a lot of people are underestimating it, but it could be a lot of fun. And if you don't want to play in it, you can donate. It is going towards a good cause, helping raise money. So you should definitely check that out if you wish. And it's the first of the month, so we can say what day Low Ink is. I hope JPEG has that announcement up by now, because he's totally not traveling when this episode goes up. But we can say Low Ink is on the weekend of the 23rd, and you can check out the Low Ink website, lowink.iplabs.inc, for more details on how to register, watch, and check out the Hall of Fame of Low Ink if you want to see who won, see previous results. And, you know, it's a really cool website. You should check it out. All right, let's get into it. This is an episode for the TOs. I think the TOs could use an episode. I think right now there's a couple issues in the community that we need to address. And I hope we can kind of get a discussion going on how to remedy some of these problems I have. So we're going to talk about tournament oversaturation, which is it's been a problem, but right now it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad right now. I'm seeing a lot of stuff going on, but we're going to get into that. And then we're going to talk about TO culture and burnout. So if you're a TO, I do highly recommend you watch, because I would appreciate as much people discussing this as possible. I think this could be an important discussion to lead towards a nicer community. But first, there are a lot of tournaments popping up for seemingly no good reason, at least the way I see it. I'm not trying to be mean. I see a lot of these tournaments, and I don't really see the point in a lot of these, and I'll get into it. Briefly looking at the comp feed shows just a lot of fluff, and what I mean by that is tournaments just kind of existing. They're just there, and they're not really innovating or providing something new that makes your tournament really worth playing. So I have a little analogy. It's a goofy analogy, but I hope it makes sense. Think of it like a potluck. And if you're not familiar with a potluck, it's where you invite a lot of people, and each person is expected to bring one food dish. So like you can bring like a meatloaf or a pie, or I'm the type of person to bring a baked good, but you can bring anything. If you got like a little pan of something, bring it. And then the point is you can take a little bit of everything from the potluck. So right now in the TOing potluck, I invited all the TOs, and 5 people brought a blueberry pie. Now, blueberry pie is delicious, unless it isn't. I actually never had it. It sounds good. I'll try it. But here's the thing. People brought 5 blueberry pies. There's 5 blueberry pies. That's too many blueberry pies. And people are probably going to eat people are going to take 2 slices out of each blueberry pie, and then by the end of the potluck, you're going to have to throw away all of them, because it's just, you don't have like a whole blueberry pie remaining. You know, you want everyone to take out of one blueberry pie. What I'm getting at is we have too many tournaments that are really similar. Everyone needs to bring their own pie. If you're going to bring a pie to the potluck, coordinate. Get an apple pie, get a pumpkin pie, get a peach pie, and a blueberry pie. There we go. Now we have a lot of pie. We got a lot of variety. What I'm getting at is there's a lot of low-level events. Basically, there's just a lot of events that are... I don't know how to describe this in a smart way. I'm not trying to be mean about it either. I'm trying to be constructive. There's just a lot of events that are really similar. That's really all there is to it. That's all I need to say. So before I continue and really get into the meat of this, I'm going to acknowledge a couple things. Yes, I am a head TO of one of competitive Splatoon's biggest low-level events, Low Inc., yes. So when I say there are too many low-level events, I'm not trying to get rid of my competition. I'm trying to be constructive and say, I think we do genuinely have too many of these events, and it's going to spread us a little too thin here. But I'm also not trying to make anyone here quit making tournaments. I'm not trying to do that. Rather, I'm providing criticism to help save the scene from major tournament oversaturation once again. So, why does it matter if the tournament scene gets oversaturated? Well, there's a couple reasons. We've already, in the past couple of months, have been experiencing an average drop in teams within all Splatoon tournaments, in the past couple of months at least. And having more tournaments run over each other will just spread the players even thinner. And the problem with that is you want a tournament to be as big as possible so it can make an impact on the scene. You'd rather have one big tournament on a weekend, or one or two big tournaments. We can have a couple. But when you have, let's say, 4 or 5 tournaments where all of them have like maybe 10 teams, it's hard to care about any of those teams. Or it's hard to care about any of those tournaments. As opposed to like one tournament. If you have like one 50-player tournament on the weekend, everyone's going to be talking about that. So this has historically been a problem in the scene. What I'm saying is maybe in the past year, with multiple majors basically reserving their own time slots, multiple Ludi seasons, and SAC making its grand return, it's been hard to kind of find a slot for new tournaments to fill in. I think we have basically all our bases covered here. See, the thing is, though, SAC and Ludi provide a lot of valuable tournament experience, they provide a valuable tournament experience to players. SAC was the much-needed event for mid-level. Mid-level wasn't doing too hot before SAC. It still could do a little better, but it's good that SAC's back. And Ludi, of course, everyone plays in Ludi, so it's nice to have everyone in the community, or at least most people in the community, playing in this one event. It's a lot of fun. But the thing is, they're adding something to the scene, so it's hard to complain that they're there. So, you're thinking, I have this tournament, and I don't want to be a part of this problem, so don't fret. I'm going to explain how to make it better. First of all, if you're making a tournament, do not make it skill capped. I just don't know how to put it nicely. It's just pointless. And of course, yes, I'm the low ink guy, but I'm just going to say it now, like I don't really see a reason why every single new tournament popping up has to be skill capped. The number of Div 9 to 5 and Div 9 to 7, and there's like this like Div 9 only tournament. I don't know if that's still around or not, but it's just a little weird to me that these events just have these random skill caps. I encourage you to go look through the comp feed. There's just a lot of them. And I've seen them. It's just a little ridiculous. I assume people see how big low ink is, and this is just my assumption. If you actually know or have a good reason, I would like to know. But the way I see it is, I assume people see low ink as this big tournament, and low ink's gimmick is that it is a skill cap tournament. That's his main selling point. And people see that and they're like, okay, I want to make this skill cap tournament because those do really well, and that's fair. That's a fair assumption. But let me tell you, low ink isn't popular mainly because of its skill cap. It's because of its skill cap and other factors. So low ink was one of the first tournaments to have a skill cap in Splatoon 2's early days. But because it's been around so long and our production values increased more and more, a lot of people hold low ink high in the community. They recommend low ink to people. Around the time Nintendo's tournaments were going on in 2020, when a lot of people were getting into competitive Splatoon through those, a lot of people were actually recommending, hey, check out Low Ink. This is a well-established tournament for newer and lower-level players. And that's what made Low Inc big. A lot of people came from Nintendo. They see Low Inc, and we got like 100 teams during the summer. It was insane. And we appreciate everyone for recommending us. I do love that. I love thinking about that a lot. It helps us out going. I don't know if Low Inc would still be around if that didn't happen, because we were maybe getting about 30 teams average, but it's nice. It's nice to have that kind of support behind us in the community. But basically, TLDR, age and status plus the skill cap is what made Low Inc so big. You can't just make a skill cap tournament and expect it to grow big. But I don't blame you for thinking that, of course. I'm just saying it now. Maybe don't add a skill cap. It's just gatekeeping a part of the community. I don't think mid-level or high-level is going to enter like a brand new event. And if they do, well, they might win. That's fine. It's just how it is. So next up, let's address this part. Your tournament needs to add something to the scene that's valuable and something that innovates, or add to a part of the scene that's lacking. So this is difficult because we're not that big of a scene in the first place. I mean, Splatoon, it seems big if you're new to it, but if you look at other esports, they are 10 times, 100 times bigger than us. We're doing fine. I'm not saying we're a small community. We're nice and tight-knit, but I don't know. It's hard to innovate with how big our community is. It's really hard, especially right now in Splatoon 2's late game. We're trying to transition to Splatoon 3. It's hard to come up with something new, you know? So this is something IPL keeps in mind. We keep in mind this rule. It has to add to something because we've learned from experience. We've learned the hard way. When we first started IPL, we started IPL from Low Inc because it was doing so successfully in 2020. So we made IPL with Low Inc, and then we added Swimmer Sync and Testing Grounds during our launch, which is cool. We got all these tournaments, but let's analyze them a little bit. We got the low-level event, doing good. That's innovating. That's adding something. And this was before a ton of low-level events showed up. So Low Inc was one of the few. Swimmer Sync, a weekly for North America. Okay, North America needed a weekly. Awesome. And Testing Grounds, a bi-weekly for North America. Okay, you see the problem here? Testing Grounds, a little problematic. It had a different format to SOS. It was Swiss. Okay, but it's still a bi-weekly for North America. So we got rid of it recently. We got rid of it in favor of SAC, or SAC. Basically, all the Testing Grounds staff moved to SAC, or SAC. I switch between the two. Don't argue about this. But Testing Grounds was shelved in favor of other events, and especially the region-focused events. So here's what we got now at IPL. We have Low Inc and SAC supporting low and mid-level, those parts of the community. Swimmer Sync being the NA Weekly. King of the Castle will help Europe once it makes its return, and it will. It's coming soon. Reef Rushdown will help Oceania. If it comes back, they need staff. So if you're from Oceania and you want to start TOing, please get in touch. Like, we actually need like some dedicated staff for Reef Rushdown. But yeah, basically you see the pattern here. IPL's new events, as opposed to the events we had originally, they all slot in somewhere in the community. We got regions helping with time zones, and we got skill caps helping with skill. Pretty self-explanatory. So all of IPL's events have to fill a role. We don't just make an event for the sake of making an event. They got to do something new. Now, this is a double-edged sword. You're thinking, I know you're thinking, okay, my gimmick tournament. I have a gimmick tournament idea. I'm going to make a gimmick tournament because it's new and it's fresh and it's innovative. Well, okay, cool. Wait till I'm done, though. So you want to make a gimmick tournament. Cool. I do those too. I used to do those because there wasn't tournament oversaturation. I stopped because there is tournament oversaturation, and I don't want to run an event on a weekend. But I'll get there soon. I'll explain it. Let me just get this out of the way. If you're running a gimmick tournament, well, here's the problem. A lot of gimmick tournaments are the ones with prize pools. All the events, not all of the events, but like a lot of the events with prize pools happen to be gimmick tournaments, and that's getting a little bad. So if you're running an event with a prize pool, maybe just run a normal tournament. I think people are getting a little sick of the gimmick tournaments having prize pools. So I don't know. That's calling out maybe like 2 people in the community, but if you run a gimmick tournament, it'll be harmless. I don't know if a prize pool is a good idea or not, but I'm going to get back to what I was at before. Here's the main burden here. Here's something we all, unfortunately, are tied to. We all have to deal with this. Time. There are only so many days in the week, and even less weekends where people are actually consistently free. I read a tweet saying there are 7 tournaments tomorrow. I'll let you think about that. There are 7 tournaments tomorrow. That's a lot. That's way past where it should be. Like maybe like 3 events max on a weekend. That's still like a lot though. 7 tournaments. I'm going to keep saying it. 7 tournaments. Can I list them off the top of my head? Absolutely not. No, I can't. In fact, the only one I can really think of is Girls Duo Cup, because that's awesome, and I love that event. But that's actually 2 problems now that I think about it. Branding and time. I don't know these events that are popping up. I don't recognize them. Maybe that's just because I'm not a player and I'm not really paying attention to that kind of thing. But I do think, it's a good talking point. I think some stronger branding goes a long way, and a unique hook. I'm seeing a lot of like the same thing in the comp feed. A lot of people, I feel like they're like copying each other's bios, not like user bios, like tournament bios. The little, I don't know. It's just, I feel like they're copying each other when I've been looking at it recently. I think people need to get a little creative. Put your selling point front and center. When I advertise Low Ink is coming up this weekend. That's always what I do. This weekend is easy. Everyone knows when this weekend is, because I always wait till like the weekend before, and then I'll say Low Ink is an event for newer and lower level players. People aren't going to read the entire thing. They're going to read like a little bit of the first part, and if they're interested, if they see Low Ink is an event for newer and lower level players, and they're like, okay, I'm a newer and lower level player, I want to get into this, they'll read the rest. You got to put your selling point like front and center. And I think what also helps is a graphic. Graphics help a lot. It catches the eye. People want to look at the graphic instead of reading a giant block of text. Now, of course, you can have a giant block of text and a graphic. That's what I do, because if you want more information, it's there. But as mentioned previously, a unique hook and some stronger branding goes a long way. No one's going to play in yet another Div 9 to 5 skill capped event if that's your only thing you got going for you. So just thinking off the top of my head, what would be a good tournament idea? Well, I think catering to maybe West Coast. I see some people complaining that SOS is at a bad time. Or not West Coast, East Coast. I think East Coast, SOS goes a little too late. Some tournaments that are just a normal tournament that just caters to other time zones. If you see a time zone that isn't being catered to, maybe consider that. Of course, if you're free during that time. SOS staff are not free during that time. SOS staff are free when SOS is happening. So that's why they're not moving the date, calling someone out here. So if you are free during a time, you want a TO, maybe just make the tournament at a time that doesn't run over anything. And other formats like leagues, having something that runs consistently, and I don't know, leagues are pretty good too. But those are just ideas off the top of my head. I didn't even write these down. It's just stuff that gets people interested. You got to be creative nowadays. So I want to bring the topic back to time. Time here. We only have so much time. And I'm going to be blunt here. And I know this is going to contradict everything I just said, but I think right now, in this very moment, there are just too many tournaments. And it's spreading us way too thin. We got too many blueberry pies. Too many blueberry pies. We have 7 blueberry pies this weekend. No, we don't. That analogy didn't work. We have a diverse amount of tournaments this weekend, especially with like something like Girls Duo Cup. Girls Duo Cup is like that weird, obscure like dessert your mom made, like back when in your childhood. Like that's awesome, and it tastes really good, and no one else knows how to make it. That's Girls Duo Cup. But the potluck. There's too much food now. There's too much food. There's only 4 people at the potluck, and they brought like 20 dishes. 4 people are going to finish 20 dishes, guys. It's the dumbest analogy I've ever made. But it makes sense, I hope. I think right now there's just too many tournaments. And despite everything I just said about not wanting to chase new TOs away, I'm going to have to say it. And now is not a good time to make a tournament. Please just wait a little bit. So, I don't know how to, I feel like I'm just contradicting myself because I just gave a ton of advice how to make an interesting event. You gotta have strong branding. You gotta stand out from the crowd. But right now, maybe just sit this one out. Maybe just sit it out for a couple of months. So, this has been an issue for a long time. How do we fix the tournament oversaturation problem? Well, I've been watching this for a while. It's been an issue for a while now, and I've been keeping a close eye on what's causing it, how to fix it, or brainstorming ideas on how to fix it. Well, based on observations, I think it's inevitable. People are just going to make tournaments. People want to help the community. People want to make the next big tournament. They want to be the TO of the next big thing. Well, sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm saying this. I love the community. I'm saying this in love, but we don't need a next big event. We don't. I'm sorry. Truth is, we just need to put more trust in existing organizations. This is coming from the guy from IPL. Yes, I want you to support IPL, but no, I mean it. We work hard, and I want people to support IPL. I want people to support Daplos. I want people to support Deep Sea Solutions and all these other orgs out there that already exist. They're already working so hard on tournaments. But back to what I was saying, I think tournament oversaturation is inevitable. People are going to just make tournaments. People are going to pop up. They're going to try to make a tournament, and I don't think telling them you shouldn't make a tournament, even though I just did, is going to help as much as we think. Here's how we fix it, or at least try to fix it. This is my idea. I need to call upon the players, and of course, I'm sure a lot of players have the same mindset as what I'm about to say. But players, please vote with your registration. You can only play in one tournament over the weekend, or maybe a couple, but you can't play in all 7 tournaments tomorrow. You can't do that. I'd like to see you try, actually. That'd be kind of funny. But, continue supporting the events that you appreciate. The people clearly putting in a lot of effort. And don't feel the need to play every single event that appears in the comp feed. I see a couple people, maybe you're thinking, yeah, okay, that's really obvious. I'm going to play the tournaments I like. But, I see a couple people being like, oh, there's a lot of tournaments, and I don't know which one to play. Which tournament should I play? Nope, support the one you like. Is there a tournament you like this weekend? Play in that one. And I think this will solve that issue, at least a little bit. Because when these new tournaments that pop up, and they don't get a lot of numbers, I don't know. I feel unethical now. I want these new tournaments to at least have a chance, but if they're running over, if just 7 tournaments are this weekend, you gotta have competition. There's only so many players, and I say prioritize the people who really did put the effort into making a good event. And of course, I'm not saying don't play new tournaments. Yes, you can. I'm not telling you what to do. Just keep it in mind. If there's 7 tournaments on a weekend, support the one you like. And it's really obvious, but I think if everyone just keeps that mindset in mind, then I think we'll be good. All right. Let's move on to something a little more serious. I'm going to try to keep it like casual, but like this is something that's been on my mind for a while, and I would like to get it out there. And I'm not like, I want to keep it casual. I don't want to be too serious about it. So we need to talk about TO burnout and TO culture in general. What did I have? I had it, TO culture and burnout. Yes, that's what I said. So this is a little call-out post to myself a month ago and to some TOs in the Splatoon community. And if you think I'm talking about you at all in this segment, it's because I am. So I recently took a month off from TOing, a little more than a month, due to some kind of funny mental health business and school kind of going rough and stuff. And unfortunately, I don't talk about it as much as I should. So here I am talking about it. But I'm doing better now, if you were asking. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. I fear I'm not the only one in the community with this issue, though. I feel like I'm not the only one who has so much pressure to create something as amazing as possible in the scene. It's to the point where I'm kind of scared to run events because I have a reputation to live up to. So now I only really operate in IPL because, you know, I'm low ink. I don't really dwell in other orgs though. Some people might think I do. No, I only stick around in IPL. But this might be only an IPL problem. But if it isn't, just take notes. Like keep this in mind. And I think, you know, let's just get into it. I think TOing culture is getting unhealthy. We've put the bar too high to the point where so many hours are poured into just the smallest things that most people won't even like appreciate that much. And I could list off so many examples, but I'm not going to. I don't want to call out the people in IPL. I think they're great people, or any other tournament org for that matter. I think they're great. I just want to say it out here. I think we just need to relax a little bit. We spend so much time doing unpaid work, and if you're getting paid doing TOing, yeah, take it a little seriously. Do it. You're getting paid now. But like 99% of us aren't getting paid. We're not making money off this. We need to stop treating this like a real job. Treat it more like a hobby. When I first started TOing low ink, it was a fun, scrappy little tournament. And I'm not saying like we were bad at it. We were doing really good. We were doing our best. The stream looked as good as we could make it. In fact, it was pretty good for the amount of staff we had. We didn't have our production team we have now. Nowadays, low ink looks fantastic. We do an excellent job with it, I think. But you know, I almost miss those old days where it's just a scrappy little Splatoon tournament with 30 people would sign up. We'd do a little verification, then we'd run it. And because I miss that environment just a little. I like low ink. I like where low ink is now. But you know, a part of me is like, okay, I kind of miss those days where we were a smaller tournament. But I try to keep that fun environment around. I feel pressure as a head TO. I want to make the staff team feel like it's not a job. I want them to feel like this is a fun little hobby, a fun little thing we do. We hang out during the tournament day of. It can get a little chaotic. We can work really hard, but you know, there's a lot of downtime where we'll just chill, watch the stream, and laugh at people when they fall in Snapper Canal. I try to keep that environment as fun as possible, but lately it's just been really stressful, and it's been harder and harder to keep that environment in place. So I took a break. I took a really long break. I only expected to take a couple days off, but it turned into a month because truthfully it was actually amazing just to get away from Discord for a bit and just live life, go outside, get some exercise and stuff. And I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad I took the break. I'm glad I'm back. I'm not trying to hate on anyone. I'm just saying I think other TOs work harder than me, and I think they also need a break too. You guys need to consider just stepping away from a bit and appreciate other things, get other hobbies, develop other skills. Like lately I've been at my college's gaming club. I got a new gaming PC. been playing a lot of games with them. It's been a lot of fun. I haven't had a gaming device except for my Switch for about 3 years. Ever since I moved to college, I left my desktop computer behind, my old one. It didn't run games very well, so I don't use it anymore, but now I got a new one. I'm playing all these games. I have like a backlog of 3 years. It's been a lot of fun. But before that, the only hobby I had was just Splatoon TOing, and I was just getting sick of it. But, I encourage TOs, if you're in that same situation, your only hobby is to TO Splatoon, then explore a little bit. There's hobbies that don't cost money. Just get out there and do something. That's really all I gotta say about that. Let's keep this going. In the words of another TO that I speak closely to, or I work closely with, they said TO culture is kind of turning into an echo chamber of self-deprecation and burnout. And I agree a ton. I'm seeing people, and this isn't just an IPL. Everything I'm saying here isn't just IPL. It's TOs in general. I'm seeing people try to work on something to the point where it stops being fun, but they don't realize it stopped being fun. That's what happened to me. I kept working on low ink, and I'm like, okay, low ink's fun. It's in my mind. I'm thinking low ink's fun, but it wasn't. It wasn't fun. And nowadays, I'm trying to help relax a little bit, let other staff kind of take the workload, and just take it easier. I'm not trying to be lazy. I want to do as much as I can for the tournament. Just time's been short lately. I can't spend as much time as I used to. Wow. That snuck up on me. But yeah, basically, just if TOing is not fun for you, again, take my previous advice. Just try something else, and come back to TOing, and you'll find it's a lot more enjoyable. I do enjoy it now. I know I'm kind of hating on it right now, but that's only because me a month ago I was like, I gotta do this thing now. But now I'm excited to get back into it. It's just nice to take a break. So I want to tell a little story, and I didn't ask this person if I could talk about him, so I'm going to keep him anonymous. Wow, 1 second. I didn't ask them. I hope they're okay with it. I'm not going to say their name, though. But there's this TO who works really hard. They worked really hard. They worked really hard, constantly. And they worked so hard, and they catered to the player base as much as possible. The players would give feedback, and they would just try their best, and they would TO all the time. They did a weekly. Weeklies are the hardest. So they would TO every weekly, straight for a year, to the point where it stopped being fun. Almost to the point where it was like a burden. It wasn't just not fun. It was stressful. It was stressful to think about. But now they don't do this TOing stuff anymore. But I talk to them pretty often. They give a lot of good wisdom, and they would give a lot of good wisdom about don't overwork yourself TOing. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna hate it in a couple of years if you keep working at this rate. And I didn't listen. I was just okay. I mean, I don't run a weekly or anything like that, but now I'm starting to understand what they mean, and I think it's important not to ignore that kind of advice. It's important to just kind of take it easy. Keep this a hobby. I feel like I'm running in circles here, but I just want to drive the point home. Keep this a hobby. Don't treat it like work. You don't owe anyone anything. I've had that mindset. Maybe that's a bad mindset to have, but I've had it recently. I don't really owe anyone anything. I'm going to do as much work as I want to in this community now. So with that, I hope this is a wake-up call to some TOs. I'm sorry, that was a little bit of a serious discussion. But Splatoon 3 soon. We need the TOs. We need you guys to take it easy. Please take care of yourselves. And bring on your A game when Splatoon 3 comes. I'm probably gonna be back to my prime when Splatoon 3 comes out, and then work as hard as possible, especially if it's during the summer. Then I'll have a lot more free time on my hands. But just take it easy, because taking a break was probably one of the best things I've done recently. I've really gotten out of my box. I feel good now, and I feel like I have other things to do aside from TOing, and I still have a lot of fun doing TOing and hanging out with the IPL staff. So let's end on that high note there. This was a shorter episode for reasons, I just wanted to have an episode about talking to TOs, making sure we address some important things in the community. Of course, all of this is my opinion, so if you want to add your own opinion, like I want to see some discussion respectfully, go ahead and talk about what you think would solve tournament oversaturation, or what you think about TO culture and burnout. I would love to hear your thoughts. So let's end it there. If you'd like to be a part of the podcast in any way, please reach out to me at socials below: Twitter, Mr_Popgun, Discord, Popgun, hashtag 5882, YouTube at 25Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25, Anchor FM /Popgun, TikTok at Mr_Popgun. Let's rate someone. Oh, wait. It's pre-recorded. Unless it's not.